Should the UFC have female only and male only specific cards? So as the guest today, why don't you have the first crack at that?
Cool. Okay. So initially, I really had to think about this one. But in the sense of putting an all-female card together, I think it would alienate a lot of the viewers in a sense, because first of all, just by the numbers, obviously there are a lot more male viewers than female viewers. And if we look at other sports like the WNBA versus the NBA, the salaries, the income, the advertising, everything is skewed far towards the NBA, even though the WNBA puts forth a pretty solid product. And there are amazing athletes in the WNBA. And I think that if we did that on the MMA side of things, we'd see a very similar trend. And I don't think that any organization would want that. It's unfortunate because I do think that female MMA fighters are amazing. And I mean, the best champ that we've ever had is a female in Amanda Nunes, if that tells you anything. But even saying so, I think that it would, from a financial position, it wouldn't work well. So I would say no on that one.
Yeah. Again, this is probably going to surprise you because you know how much smack I talk about women's MMA in general. But yeah, I agree. I don't think the UFC should have yeah. Yeah, I don't think the UFC should have male or female only cards either. As funny as it would maybe be to do this, I think their headquarters would probably end up burned to the ground before the ink was dry. So I wouldn't do this. Now we had a little discussion about this before, and I originally thought that if they did something like this, I'd probably skip cards. But honestly, considering what a massive fan I am of the sport, I would never do that. But I'm not confident, as you kind of alluded to there, that a massive bulk of the fan base would feel the same. For all the joking that I do, the female fighters tend to be more skilled when you go unskilled when you go down the divisions, and that there's a lack of depth across every division. It's important to remember that they are much newer to the sport, and over time, I think as the longer they're in the sport, I can see the talent pool improving. I could see in 5 or 10 years, talent level and skill is going to be far more deep. And ultimately, with for all the joking I do believe in equality, and men and women should have the same opportunity to showcase their talents on an equal level, and women should have the same opportunity to have a showcase with the men. I just think that what needs to happen is that the UFC needs to make a better job of talent selection and matchmaking. So I kind of, at times when the female fights aren't as good as they could be, I feel like the UFC is generally to blame for that. What I think they need to start doing, organizations across the country, is putting more effort into investing in grassroots. More of a drive to get women involved in the sport, be it as a hobby, and then see where it leads from there. And then give it a chance from the grassroots level to kind of grow naturally. But yeah, I'm with you. I feel like if they separate it, it's just going to hinder growth completely, and ultimately that would not be good for the sport overall.